Balance on Afternoons with Helen Farmer.
On Mondays, we talk about business, careers, money and more. And we all know that if the leadership at the top of a company is good, it hopefully trickles down to its employees. And the same, of course, goes for leadership of a country and its people. Joining us now is Dr. Amer Bitar, an academic researcher, international executive specialising in Middle Eastern culture and media content, localisation and development too. And he's joining us to talk about his latest book, Bedouin Visual Leadership in the Middle East, The Power of Aesthetics and Practical Implications. Dr. Amer, lovely to have you with us. I'm very much here to learn, like many people listening today, about your insights, looking back, but also looking forward as well. Why did you decide to write this book?
Yeah. Hi, everyone. Thank you for having me in your program. The root idea of this book was influenced by being me as a Syrian origin from Syria, and my experience living in Dubai for more than 15 years. During this period, I witnessed the growth of this city. At the same time, I was comparing the growth of Dubai with what's going on in other parts of the Middle East, especially for the last few years. So some of these countries are lagging behind with lots of wars, disasters, and crises. So the process of comparing created that interest in me as an academic researcher to explore the main factors behind these two experiences. And as part of my doctorate thesis, I came up to frame my conceptual model into three central ideas that are responsible for that growth, which are the first one is cultural identity and national culture in general. The second is leadership styles and their impact on economic and social development. And the third is the visual and aesthetic expression of leadership results.
So you're really kind of illustrating the experience that so many people had under the leadership of Sheikh Mohammed bin Rashid and how was recognised internationally as an exceptional leader and setting some very new standards, I guess, for successful leadership in an Arab Bedouin environment. And through this book, you've identified 8 kind of dominant themes for Sheikh Mohammed's leadership style. So can we start with Bedouin culture? Are you able to kind of elaborate on that for us and perhaps what it might have looked like historically and what you learned from researching this society?
Yes, it's a good question. In fact, what I learned that, first of all, culture is in general plays a central role in shaping and leading change. So here I mean, from culture, I mean these all unwritten rules of social relations in any society. What also I learned that leadership has a key role in shaping the future of any social community, either a small company or a nation. So the right leadership can build a successful and rich societies and nations. Wrong leadership can destroy civilizations, and history can tell us lots of stories. So taking into consideration that needed resources are important, but leadership comes first. So based on that, I built the model of my research on the leadership style of His Highness Sheikh Mohammed bin Rashid Al Maktoum, and explored the style as his leadership style as a communication model that consists of 3 parts: the sender, who is the leader, the recipient, who is the audience, and the message per se. So through that study, building on the 3 parts of this study, I was able to identify 8 dominant themes for Sheikh Mohammed's leadership style that are communicated through his public images, and from other side were decoded by the audience into 8, as you mentioned, 8 umbrella themes, which are the first one, inspiring. So he is inspiring for people to follow him. He is charismatic, and in a way he represents the hero to to realize the impossible.
Mm-hmm.
He represents the father for people. So the patriarchal personality. He has a vision, so he's visionary. So he has a vision, even very long-term vision, and he's at the same time human. So he is good for his people and the expats, and he is happy. He represents a happy message, and his main vision is to make everyone happy in Dubai. He achieving, so he can achieve what he tell his audience to that he wants to do, and he is self-confident in terms of himself and his team. So he confident that his team can do what he wants to achieve.
Yeah, it's be implemented.
Life Balance on Afternoons with Helen Farmer.
We're discussing leadership today and perhaps paying attention to the past and looking to the future. A new book is out called Bedouin Visual Leadership in the Middle East, and we're joined by the author now, academic researcher and international executive specialising in Middle Eastern culture. Dr. Amer Bitar is with us this afternoon. Doctor, I wanted to ask you about, I guess, the foundation of Bedouin society. How has it been incorporated into the Dubai that we know today, and perhaps without us even realising or recognising it? Can you give us some examples?
Yes, sure. Dubai leadership identified a great and unique position of Dubai, which is based on its history. Dubai was a commercial hub between Southwest Asia and Eastern Africa for decades because of the location. So Sheikh Mohammed and before Sheikh Rashid crafted their vision around working on Dubai as a commercial hub. However, their vision exceeded the idea of a regional hub to a global hub. And this is what they worked hard to achieve through building the needed infrastructure to achieve that vision, from seaports to airports to highways to many big projects. So in order for them to realize this vision, His Highness needs team and people to work with, to count on. So he created his leadership model that is unique to the social and cultural characteristics of the region, which is a Bedouin culture. The main characteristic of the Bedouin culture is collective. It's a collective culture. So at the same time, it's a patriarchal, and that make each and every citizen share and have a role in building this vision. And this is the way His Highness communicated his vision, and through this great leadership communication, he expanded that role even to expats that lives here in Dubai, in order for them to create that global hub for business and also a cultural hub become later for Dubai.
And lastly, Doctor, I'm curious, based on your research, what do you mean when you think about a great leader? And a great leader of the future, what are some of the characteristics?
First, I'm using he. It can be she. Leadership is a social cultural phenomenon. So he needs to understand the audience. So leadership is a communication process. So a leader needs to be effective communicating with his audience, with his team. Using, like if we are talking about Bedouin, so using the visual construction is so important because Bedouin culture is based on oral culture. So poetry, for example, is so important.
Absolutely,
and also
storytelling. I know, and I think it's so wonderful to see that, our leadership is paying respect to ancestors gone by and traditional ways of life. But I mean, my goodness, I'm probably the most modern city in the world. Amer, thank you so much for your time. If anyone does want details of the book, do feel free to message me. I'd be very happy to share the full title and where you can get hold of it. That was Dr. Amer Bitar, academic researcher and the author of his latest book, Bedouin, Visual Leadership in the Middle East. And thank you for downloading this episode of the Afternoons with Helen Farmer podcast. Don't forget, you can subscribe. You'll get it direct to your phone as soon as it's out. And you can listen to me live on Dubai Eye 103.8, Monday to Friday between 2 and 5 p.m.
You've been listening to a Dubai Eye 103.8 podcast. To enjoy lots more from Dubai Eye in the United Arab Emirates, just go to DubaiEye1038.com or find them wherever you normally get your podcasts.